This is the third and final part of the film series The Sacred Triangle of the Vosges. After the two castles, Haut-Koenigsbourg and Oedenbourg on the Stauffenberg mountain, and the wide, layered heights of the Taennchel, the path now leads to the Chalmont. Already from afar, its distinctive form emerges from the landscape. Together with the previously mentioned sites, it marks the third point of an equilateral geomantic triangle, spanning roughly 5 kilometers per side. This ascent leads toward the Roche, or Rocher du Chalmont, a place shaped by an extraordinary rock formation and by the stories that gathered around it. Unlike the Stauffenberg, no castle crowns its summit, and unlike the Taennchel, it does not unfold as a vast ridge of many forms. Local legend places Karl the Great, known in history as Charlemagne, on these heights, describing this mountain as a place where he is said to have rested during his passages through the Vosges. This association explains why it is sometimes referred to as Karlsberg, literally, Karl's Mountain. As the path climbs through the forest, the landscape begins to suggest order and repetition. It is also known as Schallenberg, the Mountain of Bowls, a name whose meaning will become clearer further on. Several hundred meters before reaching our destination, the path meets a historic border route that runs along the crest. Scattered stones line the way, accompanied by old boundary markers which, like modern menhirs, seem to hint at a place that may have held meaning long before that border was established. It is here that legends begin to speak more clearly. Of an early stronghold said to have stood on these heights, later associated with Karl the Great. Or are we instead passing the remnants of something far older, a structure or presence that long predates these legends? No walls can be traced with certainty, no plan reconstructed. What remains is an impression. Stones that appear set apart from their surroundings, as if something once sought to take form here. Beyond the boundary path, the landscape changes abruptly. Massive blocks of stone rise ahead, reached by a narrow passage over rock and slab. What appears is not a ruin in the usual sense, but a singular formation, immense, exposed, and unmistakably present. Whether shaped by nature alone or charged by long human attention, the Rocher dominates this place as its silent center. At the top, the rock opens into a broad, level surface. Shallow, bowl-like hollows appear in the stone, scattered across the plateau. They give the mountain one of its old names, Chalmont, the Mountain of Bowls. From here, the view extends far into the Val d'Argent below, with the Taennchel visible in the distance. Among the depressions on the plateau, local tradition points to a mark that is said to be the hoofprint of Charlemagne's horse. Seen from the side, the Rocher reveals its full mass, a stack of immense stone blocks rising like a constructed form. Local legend imagined this rock as one pillar of a bridge long ago when the valley below was said to be flooded with water. The other pillar was identified with the Rocher des Géants on the Taennchel, some 5 kilometers away. Other stories speak of a hidden treasure buried beneath the rock and forever out of reach, and of treasure seekers who were said to have never returned. Some tell of a daughter of Karl the Great, said to have fallen from favor, laid to rest here in silence, far from the court and the world she once belonged to. And at times, a white figure is said to appear, the White Lady of the Chalmont, bound to this place where stories have gathered around stone for centuries. Seen from below, the Rocher stands like a massive foundation, rooted deep into the mountainside. Here, at the final point of the sacred triangle of the Vosges, paths, stories, and landscapes converge. What began with castles and walls ends here in bare stone. The path now leads back down through the forest. For some, this journey has revealed a triangle and places that feel tangible, ancient, and deeply real. For others, they remain landscapes shaped by nature, carrying a quiet sense of mystery. Either way, the descent leaves space for personal conclusions, formed through experience rather than explanation.